he's shown some signs, but in the end, it's been a win for the Fremantle Dockers. Peter Sumich looking on, having a chat to Ross Lyon. It wasn't pretty, and they've only managed 8 goals, the Dockers, but they have won by 29 points, and they've done what they needed to do, Dermot. They've scored the 4 points, and they're 2-1.
Well, what they're doing is, it's not pretty, as you called it, but they got over the line, and I'm quite sure that if they get through to the end of this year, and what's it, 24 rounds, if you win 2 out of 3 all the way through, Ross Lyon wins ugly 16 times, I think they'll accept that.
Let's get down to Glenn.
Yep.
Let's get down to Glenn.
Thanks, Matty. Well, I got Tendai Mzungu, Tendai 25 touches. Tough day at the office, but you got the win.
Yeah, it was a tough day there. Brisbane really came over and had a good crack, and to our credit, we stuck at it and got the points.
A lot of inside 50s, very wasteful. What did Ross Lyon say to you during the breaks?
Yeah, we were bombing it in a little bit, and they were sagging one off. So just to lower your eyes, a bit more composure, and yeah, take our chances. Your
story's a good one. A mature age rookie, had a good year last year, and you've got off to a good start. You're leading in the club in score assists. Is that something that Ross encourages you to move forward a lot?
Yeah, I mean, running's a strength of mine, so if I can get forward and you know, get on the end of a few and give off a few off, then yeah, he really encourages that.
2-1, big clash Friday night, St Kilda. They're going to pump it up. Ross Lyon going back. I mean, this is the one you got to win.
Yeah, it's really important. You know, we want to build some momentum at the start of the year, and I mean, obviously it's going to be externally a big build-up, but for us, you know, we're really determined to go over there and get the points.
2-1. Enjoy the win, mate.
Thanks, Jacko. Cheers.
Jacko there, to the sounds of TNT. Jacko said that just slipped out of the top 10 last week over here.
I'll let you run with that. I'm not, as they used to say in Frontline, I'm not touching that one. But there's the coaching staff. They'll be pretty happy. Sandilands another 50-plus tap out, so he is in terrific form, Aaron Sandilands. He is the dominant ruckman of the competition, and sides have to come up with a way to beat him. It was good to see David Mundy back for the Dockers. Here he is with Glenn.
Yes, David, well, you had the yellow vest, but you injected into the second quarter after Nat 5 went down.
Yeah, unfortunately for Nat, obviously he's a great player when I'm out there, but the roar the crowd gave him when I come on gave me goosebumps, so it's good to be back.
Tell us about, I guess, your fitness. You did take a little bit to get into it. It's going to take you about 3 or 4 weeks to get your peak fitness?
Yeah, probably. I'll probably do something similar to Mickey, I guess. I was blowing pretty hard towards the end there, so looking forward to backing up.
2-1, but you were quite wasteful last week. 63 inside 50s, a lot today. How can you turn that round to be a bit more effective up forward?
Oh, have you got an answer? I'd love to know one. I don't know. Previously, our bad kind of trait was we couldn't get an inside 50, so at least we're getting it down there.
2 wins, they've both been at home. Should have won last week, but you've got a big game Friday night, St Kilda, Ross Lyon going back. Is this the opportunity now to strike to get an away win?
Oh, definitely. We want to play as well away as we do at home, and you know, we're very close last week. We only played a half of footy, so if we can put 4 quarters together, who knows?
Great to see you back, mate. The fans love it. Good song, and you're 2-1. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
We'll take a break from here at Patterson Stadium. It's been a game where Brisbane tried to hold the Dockers, but they couldn't do it for 4 quarters. And in the end, the Fremantle have their second win. 8-16-64. The Lions 5-5-35. The final margin, 29 points.
Here at Patterson Stadium, inside the rooms of the defeated, the Brisbane Lions went down at the hands of Fremantle Dockers by 29 points there. And the Lions get to lick their wounds, but they live for another day. Could have been a whole lot worse, Tony, sure.
Yes. If Fremantle kicked straighter, it probably would have been Derby, but anyway.
Let's go down to the rooms now, and I believe Glenn Jakovich has the coach of the Fremantle Dockers with him.
I certainly have, Dermot. I've got the Victoria's Fremantle coach, Ross Lyon. Ross, frustrating day, but you got the win.
Yeah, we'll bank the 4 points and move on, I think. The lessons are the wastefulness inside 50 and method. It needs to improve dramatically to find some uncontested marks inside 50 and some easier goals, and clearly our goal kicking needs some work as well, you know.
2-1, but you haven't won away. Friday night away, it's a big clash for you for all the other reasons. How are you going to approach it personally?
Well, it's a really important game. We haven't won in Melbourne for a long time, so we place no limitations on ourselves. And if you want to be a great team or an elite team in AFL, you need to win in Melbourne. So we'll be going there to sort of compete as fiercely as we can and take on what's been a pretty good team over the last few years and Obviously, there's a little bit of added spice, you know, returning home in a sense, but we've got to fix our method on entry. Otherwise, you know, we're going to struggle, and we're just going to have to bludgeon teams a bit. I think it was 52 entries to 19 today, so we couldn't have done much more, but we've got to find some method.
Rossi Dermott here. Well done, mate. You got 2 on the board, which is fantastic, but you touched on something then which I'm really keen on hearing your thoughts. Not just the Dockers, but the second last kick. Well, the second last kick before a score, the one that goes into the forward 50, is critical, more so than ever, because of the numbers that get back.
Yeah, I agree with you, Derm. I was really frustrated in the box. We probably got a little bit of footage, but
we did.
Yes, but you know, there's some real opportunities going late. I know Greg Broughton bombed it in. We had Clancy Pearce 20 metres clear, and Matthew Pavlich took a mark. He rolled outside when Maney was off the line leading at him. So they're the sort of opportunities that we need to take going in, and you know, Hilly's a class kick, and he gets it and just kicks to a 3-on-2. So we've got plenty of work to do there, and even execution, just we sort of lob it on the forward's head and they get spoiled. So, but look, if that's the thing we're working on, that can be fixed and we can train it. But it's hard to sort of train effort, and that comes internally. And I just thought the players really got to work and really dominated the game. If they'd have did what we spoke about and kicked more accurately, it would have been a fantastic win, really. But we walk away a bit frustrated, probably, and frustrating to watch.
No doubt about that. Just one last one, because you mentioned it's frustrating. Polak comes on, and his ability to use the ball, they only went in 20 times. That would have made you pull your hair out, because he really gave them an advantage. As I said, a world record low of only going in 20 times, but he gave them an advantage the way he uses it.
Yeah, look, he's a class act, isn't he, Polak, for a reason. And you know, but I'm sure with Mundy, you know, really growing, and Barlow, you know, Fife we're obviously concerned about, but we think he'll be okay. And then Valentine coming back in, we just get a little bit more distribution. And when you see Pendlebury roll onto his, you know, left or right and lower his eyes and thread the eye of the needle, that's the standard we're going to build to and we're aiming for. And I'm sure we'll get there eventually. We've just got a bit of work to do.
Ross, Aaron dominated the ruck again, a 50-odd tap-outs, but were you happy with the split away from the contest? They got their hands on the ball, but I don't know, the short hands, they weren't as clean as you would like, and maybe the split and run away from the contest once they got it?
I think you're spot on. We could have spread a bit better, but I think, you know, teams really, and last week, just sort of scrimmage it up and get lots of numbers in and congested. And so we held our forwards in the last quarter, just trying to open it up a little bit. And but if he's congested, sometimes just kick it out and turn him around and spread that way, and work hard to sort of get some players in space. So yeah, it's an area we're working on. I agree.
Tendai Mzungu, is he not far from going to the next level as being a top-class midfielder? His work ethic was fantastic today.
Yeah, look, I walked into the club not knowing a lot about players, and he's a mature age recruit, played a handful of games, but his work ethic's exceptional, and he runs so long, and he's so coachable that we see him growing continuously. So, you know, he needs to put, when you see Carlton, their midfield spread, he's one that if we can continue to grow him, we're going to be, you know, heading in the right direction.
Well, Rossi, on the law of averages, mate, 2 out of 3. 60% win by the round 24 gives you 16. You'll be a happy man. And I like it when we see a smile on Ross Lyon's face. Thanks for joining us,
Thanks,
mate.
Thanks, Dermot. You always get one. Cheers, mate.
I tell you what, he was a frightening man, Shorey. When he played, he was one of the blokes who could seriously execute a shirt front.
And what about that arm guard he used to wear? I think it was made of concrete.
He was like Cowboy Bob Orton. He used to come off the turnbuckle with it. Let's have a look at the Fremantle and the Brisbane Lions here today. The wash-up of this game, Clancy Pearce ended up with 3. Polak ended up with 2 for the Lions. Rockcliffe, 22 possessions. Duffield, 28. Double figures in the last quarter. Ran his heart out for the last 30 minutes and pretty well put them to the sword.
Yeah, look, you come away, they are the problems, the things of the game there. Leuenberger injured, looks like maybe Achilles injured. Fife, shoulder, might have dislocated that. 2 really good players, young players. You hate to see that in any game. Well, the inside 50, the lowest ever since the stats have been taken. 20 inside 50s. Like I said, you've got to convert pretty well or get some clean disposal in there, and they didn't do that today. And Sandylands again dominant. Although I didn't think they dominate cleanly. They won the clearances, but it wasn't a clean clearance, as Rossi said. They've got to work on that part of the game.
Mark Harvey there as he comes off the field, walks around the boundary, and there's Fletch with him. Walked through the Fremantle Dockers players area there, and a few of them took time out to go and make a beeline for him, shake hands. He's got a lot of friends still on that players list.
And so he should. They respected him. Look, it didn't happen the right way. Not Ross Lyon's fault. I thought it was a lack of class from the administration, the way that happened. But it's all done and dusted. You move on. hey, it's a long time in footy, Dermy, a pre-season. You just get over it and get on with it. That's it.
Absolutely. Mark Harvey, it's funny because they're both ripping blokes. Oh. We played against both of them and the way they go about it was sensational. The other thing too I might add too, with that inside 50 tally, it's the lowest we've had on record since we've been taking them. 20 times inside forward 50. They scored 10 times from it.
Yeah, well, yeah, the conversion, it was pretty well they played it. Now, at Vossi, it's an amazing thing. Will he be criticised for the way he played? I thought they did the right thing. We both said, can they change the style? They didn't have the legs in the end to do it because the youngsters probably won't be able to cope it. If he had a more senior list, like the Fremantle list, they might have been able to change it around. They've got players 40 to 60 games now, Fremantle. They should be a top 8 side and a final side.
This has happened just a moment ago. That looks like the back of the size of that neck. I'd reckon that's Jonathan Brown. That's about a 46 centimetre. He's tired, mate.
Well, he can't walk over.
He's...
I don't know what's happening there.
He's carbo load. Poor Jono, he had 3 possessions for the game. They were all in the first quarter. He went an hour and a half without touching the footy, but does it diminish the way we look at him? Perhaps the most admired player playing league footy at the moment. I've just got in the ear.
Centre-half forward. Yeah, you're spoilt, you centre-half forwards.
That's not true. Let's take a look at some of the serious injuries.
Yeah.
Leuenberger, 23. Seeing no contact, watch him just pop. Oh, yep, I better just take that easy. And we saw him ice up the back, the rear of the left ankle, whether it was heel or Achilles.
That looks
action,
Achilles to me.
Yeah, that action looks like Achilles, doesn't it? And then Nate Fyfe. That's the injury there to Leuenberger. But then Nate Fyfe got the double whammy. He got the cannon in billiard terms. Little bump there, not big, but it offset. It lost his balance for him. And then as he goes to ground, puts the elbow down and the body still collapses on him.
Well, it's disappointing, isn't it? Because they're both 2 young, talented players, and Fyfe, I think, one of the best midfielders. He will be a superstar, I think. And Leuenberger, it was a big test for him today. Didn't get the opportunity. Started up forward. I was quite surprised. I would like to see him go head-to-head straight away with Sandy Lands, but they went a different way. And
I didn't mind. Get the young kid in there.
Yeah, well, he was all right too. Yeah. He was okay, but I just think you put your number 1 ruck and give him the challenge straight off to it. Don't get the good ruckman in the form, that's all.
The thoughts of Chairman Tony. Let's have a look at why they won, Shoy. Let's have a look at some of the reasons and let's dissect some of the reasons there. We said that Brisbane tried to stay in the game and give themselves a roll of the dice. They just didn't have a knockout blow when they got to 3/4 time.
Probably didn't have a carry player. The other thing, Simon Black being out, we said the clearances that they would have won or might have won, Simon Black gets players in the space, and they couldn't find that. But it was like a chess game up to 2.5 quarters, you know. I think halfway through in the 3rd quarter it split open. The maturity, the running ability of them, of Fremantle, I think, was in the end. Sandy Land's a little bit of dominance. And I thought Luke McFarlane, the defensive setup was better at the end, and they started to break open. So, good effort by the Lions, but respectable losses. You've got to get over that and you've got to become a bit better.
The only thing I'd say about that, and I agree with that in theory, when Melbourne came over here, such a big thing for the underprepared, I suppose the teams which are swimming against the tide with personnel to come here. Melbourne came here last week. They got done by 100+ points. They go home dispirited. Yeah. Brisbane will go home and say, we can reload.
OK.
Well, there was the Fremantle Dockers who did have the win, and I don't know if you love the song or not. Some people don't. Let's have a listen to it now.